looking live.
Here comes the play. Goodman at the free throw line. Jumper.
He broke his ankles. He is Houdini.
Mickey Mantle don't care about you, so why should you care about him? Nobody cares.
That's not a good call. No.
You don't like that call.
I don't like that call.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Not so fast.
And I'll be getting to the possible teams and quarterbacks, or teams that might be in need of a new quarterback within the next couple of years or so, as well as what quarterbacks could be getting the position this year. So I do want to start off with the Tennessee Titans. And we all know what happened this offseason, where they drafted Malik Willis, and Ryan Tannehill basically said, well, not basically, he actually said this fully. He literally said, it's not my job to mentor Malik Willis. And the rest of the NFL community and fans and everything were like, well, kind of is your job, to mentor, it kind of is your job. And I was pretty shocked at that.
In a quarterback room in the same room, we're competing against each other. We're watching the same tape. We're doing the same drills. I don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he learns from me along the way.
Hall of Fame players, guys that have the gold jacket and they have the statue in Canton and all that stuff. The guys that they say something and you're like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about, right? He's right. Guys that are in the Hall of Fame were like, no, it's your job, man. Don't know what to tell you. And Malik Willis went and had a pretty decent preseason. I thought, again, take that with a grain of salt, as I said last week. So I think Tannehill, you look at this team, and other than Derrick Henry, what do they really have going for them? They don't have much in terms of offensive weapons. You can go and look up the roster yourself. I kind of outlined this a little bit last week. They don't have too much going on right now. And other than Derrick Henry, of course. Again, like I said last week, you look at the kind of change in the roster dynamic over the past year or two. They went from having Jonnu Smith, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and a couple other pretty decent guys, to having nobody, to having none of those guys at least. I'm not saying they have nobody, but they don't have those guys, is my point. Which, you kind of need some weapons if you're going to go and, be a Super Bowl contending team and all that stuff, right? Last year they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. This year, I'm not sure if they're even going to make the playoffs because, as we've seen in the past few years, leaning on Derrick Henry can kind of come back to bite you in the butt a little bit, right? Last year he got hurt, and then, they still did okay without him. But, or you lean on Derrick Henry too much, and a team finds a way to, contain him somewhat, and then late in the game they're trailing and they can't run the ball, and they have to have Tannehill take them from behind and, try to win the game, and it just doesn't work out all the time. We've seen that theme over the past few years, and, I guess Tannehill got a little butthurt that they drafted Malik Willis, and you know what? Deal with it, man. The NFL's a business. Like, you're gonna kind of have to get used to this. And, again, I'm not really sure why he's so upset about it, but the point being is the Titans, I'm not too impressed by their team. I'm not too impressed by them. I'm not sold on them yet entering the season. And I think, depending on how the Titans do, of course, right, obviously, I'm saying by week 10 or 12, I think 10 at the earliest, I think 12 is a more realistic idea, right? If you get to week 12 and it's like, okay, the Titans are already out of it, right? We've got, 4 or 5 more games left. We have nothing to lose at this point. I think you see Malik Willis start to get some starts. Because I think they're going to enter this season, of course, as a playoff contending team, right? At least that's what they would like to hope. And they're still going to have Tannehill. Tannehill's their guy right now. But Malik is, as of right now, the future. And when I say the future, I mean within the next 5 years or so. But if they get to the point where Tannehill is not doing very well and the Titans are, 4-10 or whatever, Malik Willis, I think, you could see him get a start. You really could. So the Titans are one team that I could look out for a possible quarterback change in the making right there, towards the end of the season. I also don't think there's any shot for Atlanta to be a playoff team.